We're back to Ati and the team down in Cape Town here on the channel shortly. Well, let's take you to that breaking news now. You're about to see at the bottom of your screen. We can now confirm the ANC's National Working Committee has decided, this was on Wednesday, we understand, to tell West Premier Supra Mahumapelo to resign voluntarily or face being recalled. What does this all mean? What's the state of play? What's the power struggle behind the scenes? Well, let's talk about the NWC. William Gumby, fresh from hosting Morning News today, straight to the politics desk and back with us on Newsday. So this was the writing on the wall many people thought was eventually going to be read. The ANC, NWC, it seems, have had enough.
Indeed, Gareth. I think we've been struggling for some time now to try and confirm this, because it's obviously been doing the rounds, the story that the NWC had come with this recommendation that Supra Mahumapelo should resign or face being recalled. So now we have it on good authority, and we have a sound bite, but I'm told it's not ready yet. So once it's ready, we will play it back. I've just had a conversation with the president of the ANC Veterans League, Dr. Snugi Zigalala, who also sits on that NWC structure by virtue of him being president of the Veterans League. So what he tells me, Gareth, is that indeed the NWC actually did recommend that Supra Mahumapelo should resign or be recalled, and that failure to recall him, then an emergency meeting of the ANC's National Executive Committee, which is the decision-making body in between conferences, that structure would then convene a special sitting in order to deal decisively with this particular matter. Now, he also reveals to me, Gareth, that that special NEC was actually meant to take place or meant to sit last week already, but it was going to consider the matters around the regional and provincial conferences. However, now the Northwest matter is clearly firmly on the table, and it's clearly a bugbear. They can't avoid it. So Supra Mahumapelo would also be subjected then to that particular structure. So the NWC, remember, it's important for us to remember and remind the viewers as well, the NWC cannot take decisions. The NWC can only recommend, and more importantly, the NWC implements. It's an implementing structure of NEC decisions. So if Mahumapelo does not accede to requests for him to resign, remember the NWC, they issued a statement after their meeting on Wednesday stating that the national officials of the ANC, the top six, the so-called top six, they would have a sit down with him, perhaps to request that he steps down now that we know what it would be about. And clearly then, failure for Mahumapelo, or failure of Mahumapelo to accede to these calls for him to step down, then the officials of the ANC report to the NEC to say to him, listen, to say to that structure, listen, Supra has not acceded to calls for him to resign. Therefore, do you endorse the recommendation that he resigns?
So it's not as simple as the NWC have said that now he needs to make a decision from there. It's a lot more complicated. You were mentioning the soundbite that we're waiting for. I think it's so important that we hear what is in the soundbite. Just key that up for us.
All right, so Dr. Snugi Zigalala, having had a chat with him, here he is right now. You will hear him saying that indeed the NWC did recommend for Mahumapelo to resign. Let's take a listen.
What should happen is that it was a recommendation of the NWC that Comrade Supra must step down, and so that we bring stability to Northwest. And if he steps down, of course, the NWC cannot take decisions on behalf of the NEC. The NEC was supposed to have met about a week ago to look at the provincial conferences, whether should they go ahead or not, the regional conferences, should they go ahead or not, and the BGM, should they go ahead or not, because it's important that those matters should be addressed. There was going to be an emergency meeting, a special meeting with the NEC, which of course it will take place. We are not sure whether it will take place on Monday or not, but if it takes place, it also addresses the issue of Northwest, because the NWC is not a constitutional structure. The constitutional structure is the NEC. The NWC is supposed to process matters that are put on table and present to the NEC. The NEC is the highest decision-making body of the ANC. And so now, if Comrade Supra has been recalled, it'll be recalled, but the final arbiter is the NEC. which is supposed to meet and endorse it if they so wish. But I don't see the NEC reneging on that, because the current NEC wants to build the credibility of the ANC, want the ANC to come back to its original values. And so I don't think the NEC will say no to that.
So, Gareth, that's the sum total on the matters involving Supra Mahumapelo. So it's important for us also to remember that the Veterans League of the ANC, these are people who have had 40 years of unbroken service for the ANC. So these are elders of the party who have absolutely no ambitions, as he repeatedly told me in earlier bites, that during that interview, that they absolutely have no interest, vested interest whatsoever. And so they are merely concerned with preserving the image of the ANC, the reputational damage that's been done in the Northwest, in particular to the party. They're clear that it's done too much harm and that Mahumapelo has to go. But more importantly, I also need to add this, Gareth, the Veterans League is also saying that the provincial executive structure of the ANC in the Northwest, which is led by Supra, also needs to be dissolved, because they're saying that it's completely dysfunctional. There are parallel branches that are there, and so they go further than that, actually, to say that before even the crisis that we're seeing now, they've long called for the ANC and at government level for interventions in the Northwest. But now, clearly things have come to a head, and they're saying that he has to go, and the structure that leads the ANC there must also...
Well, this is exactly what protesters were telling our reporters when they were in the Northwest. They were saying it's all good and well to cut off, they used the term, the head of the snake. But the problem goes much further than that. So if you just joined us at 2:08, we're talking about this breaking news. Supra Mahumapelo has been given something of an ultimatum, but it says at the bottom of our screen, the ANC NWC ordering him. And that's, what you're using is the word recommend.
Yeah.
Here's the problem with recommendations. There's no timeline. When you come up with a recommendation, I recommend to you, you do this. How long do you have to come back to me on this? What's my timeline?
This is actually very important, Gareth, because I tried to pin him down. That's why I think you hear towards the end of his soundbite there, Dr. Snuguzigalala, where he's saying that for him, he doesn't see the ANC NEC not endorsing the recommendation of the NWC for Supra to step down. So he's saying that this NEC, its main task is to clean up the image of the ANC, and so he doesn't see the NEC essentially not backing this particular call for Supra to step down. But I think what's significant, Gareth, for us at this moment in time is the confirmation that the NWC structure, which is an implementing structure of the NEC, has now decided that it's recommending for Supra to step down. If Mr. Mahumapelo refuses to step down, there is now this ultimatum of an emergency meeting. Now, the question you're asking is, when is the timeline? It does appear, Gareth, that this emergency meeting could possibly take place on Monday. He actually uses those words himself, but there is uncertainty because it's all dependent on these officials of the ANC sitting down with Supra Mahumapelo, asking him gently to resign. If he doesn't, then clearly the emergency meeting kicks in.
Okay, and I can just imagine every concerned citizen in the Northwest leaning in as we ask the question about when that's going to take place. William Gumby, thank you very much indeed. He's going to continue working that story for us. I'm sure we'll hear plenty about that breaking news as we head into the rest of Friday and indeed on the weekend. We wait for reaction now from the Premier himself. We'll keep an eye on that with our political team. Now,